What's up, world? What's up, Zion? It's Prince Easy coming at you again. Well, I'm recording this video as of 6th of October, right? I'll give further context down the line. Okay, so let's get to it. So, again, the space propaganda is ramping up, right? They already gave it a name, 31 Atlas, right? Meaning, like they speculate, right? Since they are able to come here, it would then be a reasonable assumption that they have advanced technology, right? Keeping in mind that NASA said we'll be sending man to the moon this time, so they say. Yeah, we know all about the pizzas. People are left to speculate, right? Is he trying to protect his child, or is he part of the game, right? Well, this is a worldwide phenomenon, right? It's not an exclusive phenomenon to Africa, to Europe, or East Africa for that matter, right? I think people should calm down, right? Should calm down before everything is destroyed. And I think, like I said many times before, right, they should focus more on the solutions, right? I'm not hearing a lot of solutions out here. I'm just hearing a lot of complaints, right? And like I said, I'm not hearing a lot of solutions, right? Even from quote unquote influencers, right? Well, they say an idle mind is the workshop of the devil, right? And the devil is busy at work, right? Hijacked Christianity. That's a stretch. It has been hijacked since its formation, right? This new movement of Christianity. The Romans took it over from the Israelites and made the disaster that we have today, right? Don't get me wrong. There are some good elements, right? The good elements that survived, but the structure itself is, I think we're going to see what it is. Yeah. The silence war going on, and information warfare, the most important. They start marching. So, fair use disclaimer for review purposes, right? To Jerusalem. The next city they come upon is a town called Ma'ara. When they arrive at Ma'ara, the population fights as hard as they can. So it's soldiers and citizens holding on to the city as hard as they can. But eventually the Crusaders get in and they capture the city. When they do, the Crusaders murder all 20,000 inhabitants and eat them. So there's multiple sources that say this on both sides. It's always good to have both sides saying it. I know of 3 sources that are from the Crusader side that say they ate the inhabitants of Ma'ara. And they describe it in slightly different ways, but it's mostly the same. One of them says that they spitted the adults and the children and just roasted them over a fire. Another one says that they would cut chunks of flesh off of them and then roast the individual pieces over a fire. But it's pretty widespread agreement that the Crusaders ate the inhabitants of Ma'ara. But there's a lesson in this story that applies to today. So one of the things people will do is who want to defend an indefensible position, is they'll find something to nitpick. So one of the Crusaders says that the people were tortured first, one of the Crusader chronicles. But none of the Muslim chronicles say that the people were tortured first. And so what I've seen happen, even on BBC, is somebody will say, well, they may have eaten the people, but they didn't torture them. So first of all, I think if you slaughter 20,000 people, including the children, in front of the parents, that's torture. But then second, I kind of don't care if that Crusaders Chronicles said there was torture and there wasn't or not, because I still think there was a horrible crime committed here. Why are you focusing on that one thing? So no Muslims are saying there was torture. Only one Crusader was saying there's torture. Nobody's having an argument with you, dude. There's no torture. They just killed them and ate them. They start marching to Jerusalem.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that.
The Russians
Again, fair use disclaimer.
are fighting the Khazarian mafia in their homeland. They're cutting the head off the snake of the group that has been destroying this planet for generations.
What does that have to do with Australia today, here and now?
Because they control this country like they control everywhere else. And the Russians, along with many other nations and many other militaries, are actually fighting a subterranean war to exterminate vermin from the planet. Mandates and COVID are just one part of a larger scheme to depopulate the planet. We have been robbed, we have been raped, we have been killed for generations. And the mandate, directed by the government and enforced by the police and provided for by the big pharma, have been exterminating the people. It's all part of the same plan.
Well, let's move on.
And so I'm ready to leave the hotel on September 11th, early that morning, and go back to Salt Lake City. And they said, come down, look in the lobby. Something's happening here. They said there's a plane that's headed towards one of the towers in New York City. And we're just glued. Everybody in the lobby is just going, wow, it's kind of there. What's going on here? You know, it was very confusing. And we see that plane go in, and we just think, wow, you know, and then I think it was, what, a 912 or something like that, that second plane hit that tower. Immediately chaos in that hotel lobby. There was, everybody was on cell phones. People had friends, family, everybody they, knew in New York, and we just said, oh, that's got to be something.
Well, you see what is happening on the left? Yeah.
That's terrorist attack or something like that. We were kind of sure. We thought that because, they'd been attacked like several years earlier in the basement of that tower, we thought that, well, this was the same guy that had come in and just kind of finished the job. And
But anyway. Yeah, as they said, they'll get the Russian money so as they can buy European weapons specifically. So how are they going to repay you again? I don't understand the scam here. Well, they are pivoting. As usual, they are pivoting, trying to shift attention, right? They are, again, the heroes of Christianity, right? And their target is Nigeria, for whatever reason, right? This is from 2 years ago, 12 days, 15 hours, right? Let me show you when I captured this, right? So you get the perspective of how many 15 hours from where, right? So I captured it on Wednesday, 11/19, 1st October, right? This, right? Well, make it unlivable. Can you please explain? Well, he goes on to explain, right? There's a speech in 2014 that Putin made, and he compares Crimea to the Holy Mount. And I don't know what they have against the Holy Mount, but again, he felt compelled to point that out, right? To show it it's important, right? Is this a fact? Let's be realistic. Is this a fact? I'm really interested, right? Because this guy is teaching your children apparently, right? And he's also a DEI consultant. Well, this is impressive, and Tanzania, I think we need one of these somewhere. What let's say east of Dodoma, somewhere east of Dodoma, like a major power plant, right? Because again, there's a concentration of resources, especially power resources in the south, right? I'm hoping this can be modified. Well, this explains my presence, or rather my absence, right? And these are just the attempts, right? My channel is still locked, right? So I don't know when this video will get up, but that video back there got striked, right? I literally showed video from Fox News, and they're calling it hate speech. I didn't even add a single word or anything like that to it, right? It is a well documented, and the victimhood is not allowed, right? They say that we review, so this video was put up for review case by case, right? And there are limited exceptions, right? And again, mine did not make the cut, right? Though I didn't add any word to the words that were being said, right? So yeah, this is why I've been absent. Yeah, it's a war, right? And you are the most dangerous. Believe in nothing, right? Believe in nothing. Not that you don't, I don't know, go along with any religion of anything like that. I don't believe the opposite of atheist is a religious person. No. But again, right, if you are crazy enough to be an atheist, then you might as well be the first one to fall down, right? Because you have the potential to increase the army for good. Right? Hmm? Look at that. Look at this also, right? They're just making observations and all that. Well, first Maccabees 3, right? We are picking up from the scriptures from the other time, right? Where they went into the temple and put up their God on top of the altar, right? What else did they do? 48. And laid open the book of the law, wherein the heathen had sought to paint the likeness of their images. Okay? This is where we get the blue eye, blonde Christ that we have today. Right? Well, again, He's a body language guy. That's all he is. Well, the radicalized. Redeveloped to improve life by who? Number 3. Okay. 72 hours of why why is it only one party's well, it's obvious he knows who are not going along. Right? Okay, number 5. We shall circle back to number 6. Okay, number 7. Number 8 is okay. Tony Blair, no. And Trump, no. Trump economic plan and rebuilding Gaza, no. Special economic zone, no. Forced displacement, you have been doing it. And of course, they have to emphasize leave or return. So the plan is still on. Hamas excluded from governance, all weapons dismantled. We shall go back to number 6. Right? So they are telling them to basically leave Gaza. Right? This is preposterous. Right? So they know for a fact they will not give up their weapons. And I do not suggest they do that either. Regional partners, now they are throwing the ball to the Arabs to make them fight the Hamas. Right? ISF, no. Why do you have to repeat the demilitarization process, and what is this demilitarization process are you talking about? Who are you going to demilitarize? Huh? The Israelis or the Palestinians? Again, they have to emphasize number 6 and number 14. Eh? And then number 17. If ISF, right? They have already established the ISF, right? We talked about the ISF, right? The international whatever body by this clown. Interfaith dialogue launched to promote values of tolerance and peaceful. Okay, I had to laugh at that one, right? Reforms pave way for Palestinian self-determination and statehood. Oh, really? This is some bullshit. Right? The US leads talk for peaceful political future. No. You're not a neutral party to the... That's why I said a lot of no's. Right? You are not supposed to lead anything. You are party to the conflict. Well, you can go up on YouTube and watch this video. Right? I'm gonna make a whole separate video pertaining to this here. Right? So, you can look at this. You can look at this. And then, most importantly, take your Bible. Right? And look at the captivities of the Israelites. Especially the last ones. and you shall see that it literally takes it one by one. Right? Again, that's what they say. Let's see what Jamal here has to say. The Baphomet was actually a god of alchemy, spiritual enlightenment, and Kundalini energy. The spirit that is Jah is the same spirit that created the light. That is why Lucifer is referred to as the serpent or the light bearer. That's a paradox within itself. Which every way out, each way you put it, the Baphomet comes in peace. Whichever way you put it, the Baphomet comes in peace. The only bad part about this god is his wrath and his sexual desire. But those both are human and animalistic characters. So what? Are you trying to say that this god is a human and an animal? That's not much when it comes to reverence of this god of yours. Right? Even the star on his forehead is a pagan symbol. At least they recognize that. For what is the human body right on his third eye, which can be interpreted as another symbol of brotherhood or even synchronization. Wow. That took a dramatic turn. Right? Moving on. I shall cycle back, okay? I shall combine this nonsense here and what it has to do with this, right? The truth about what is out there, what people are hungry to experience, right? The real world, so to speak, right? Because they call this one a matrix. So, well, this guy's channel was taken down just right about the time my channel was taken down. Let me show you why his channel was taken down. This is why this channel was taken down. He went ahead and identified the tribes, and I think he did a good job, right? He did a good job of pointing and pinpointing every tribe and where they are, and even the characteristics, right? They fit in. It's quite interesting, right? Especially Simeon, right? So in Judah, I can read it for you. Burkina Faso, Mosi tribe, Peletitre, Nigeria, Igbo, Ghana, Ashanti, Liberia, Sierra Leone, Teme Tumatane, Timitane, right? Mali, Mandika, Niger, Mande, Congo, Chiluba, Bakongo, Chiluba and Bakongo, Angola, Mbudu, and of course Senegal and Gambia. We have Wolof, Serel, Mandika, Mande speakers, right? Guinea and Guinea-Bissau, Susu, Bagu, Lundama, Ivory Coast, right? Akan group, Baole, Anyi, crew, right? Togo, Chamba Ewe, Mina, Fongebe speakers, Ethiopia, Menelek, Amara, Mauritania, Black Moors, Zera, South Africa, Zulu, Xhosa, tribes, Swaziland, Uswatini, Shela, Tanzania, Nyakyusa, Wasafwa, Wakinga, right? These are tribes. Malawi. So you can see. Yeah, so this guy, his channel had to be taken down, right? He lists every every tribe, okay? And of course, he's up for a challenge. right? But again, this is our faith, and we are reclaiming it, basically. So yeah, this was an insert from a presentation done by some weapon manufacturer. Right? What is the Antichrist relationship with Armageddon? Is the image of a tyrant of the last empire, the beast of the sea, heading a world government, a final antagonist before the revelation of Christ. No, that is wrong. The revelation of Christ has already happened. That is called the revelation. Right? The Son of Man has been revealed. It's no longer a secret. Right? When will he arrive? He comes after Christ. That is accurate up to that point. Right? The Antichrist came after Christ. Right? Christ was the one that was holding evil back, and when he left, evil dominated up to today. Right? Holding back his arrival, right? That's what I'm talking about, right? What relationship to Christ? He deceives even the elect. No, that is not correct. It is partially correct, right? It says if it were possible, he would deceive even the elect, right? Perform fake miracles and appears more Christian than Christ. No, I don't think that's the point. Who is the Antichrist? A single tyrant, a system, a type that repeat across history. Yes, that is also true. Right? So you can see the two-forked serpents doing their work. Right? Yeah.
Well, you know what the Bible said.
Well, another fair use disclaimer.
Someone slaps you in the right cheek, turn to him the other one also. Yeah, that doesn't mean what you think. What do you mean? Of course it does. Turn the other cheek, go the extra mile. If someone takes your tunic, give them your cloak also. Yeah, so those aren't actually about being extra nice. They're about subtly subverting injustice. Wait, what? Yeah, in that culture, a slap with the back of your hand meant you were beneath them. Turning the other cheek forced them to treat you as an equal because you'd be hitting them with the front of your hand. Really? Yeah, really. And with the go the extra mile thing, Roman law only let soldiers force you to carry their gear for 1 mile.
Wow, the Romans are big on the slap thing, right? Now, if they are too upset, they just take off their glove and slap you with the glove. Huh?
If you went to, it could actually get them in trouble. Huh. And the cloak thing, say you gave up both your tunic and your cloak, that would actually leave you naked. But in their culture at the time, shame wasn't on the naked person. It was actually on the one looking, the one taking from someone who didn't have. I thought these passages were just about generosity in every situation. No, Jesus was actually teaching people how to fight back in such a way that exposed the injustice by taking their systems to the logical extreme.
Word, right? This is how you get ahead. Right? This is a thing. This is a thing. So they have prophets and stuff. Right? Yeah, and also refused to make East Africa an entity. All of them refused. That's the reality, brothers and sisters in the diaspora. They refused, right? People are too nice these days to tell you so, but they refused. The only people who were with it, like genuinely, was only one person, Nyerere, Julius Nyerere, and he is not that popular because of that reason. Right? They rather give you a character that they control. Those are the people they glorify, right? But Nyerere stood on his word and joined two independent countries, Zanzibar and Tanzania, and Tanganyika, to make Tanzania that we know today. Kenya refused, the Ugandans refused, the Malawis, most of them refused. Why? Yeah, you go ask them. Right? This is just carrying on that mantle of refusal to come together. Right? So this Ugandan politician is, I don't know, for some reason he's rebelling against the movement of Museveni, right? Because if you don't rebel Museveni, then you're not with the Gen Zs anymore, right? So he wants to ban a Bantu language, their language, right? Because Swahili is not just a coastal language; it's a Bantu language. It's a language with a lot of history, right? Literally, the tribes of Israel, they are what we call the Bantus, the people. That's what Bantu mean, right? The people, and others who are called the people of the book, right? So this guy here wants to use French instead, and he gave his reasons, right? And they are to be heard, right? He said that would connect Uganda to most African countries, right? But are these other African countries, what are their what's their policy about their language? Are they moving away from French or keeping French? I would say they are moving away from French. It is part of the decolonization. So this plan here has no future whatsoever. But again, everybody has their own country and they do whatever they want, right? And like it or not, Museveni is gonna leave power at one point, and I don't know what Uganda will be like. But again, we shall see, right? Yeah, we don't need your nonsense, right? When you went ahead and created those camps, you paid compensation and all that, right? Where is our compensation? Right? Liberty. Acts 689. You can go read it for yourself, right? And of course, the French Revolution, that was the day that, I don't know, whatever faith that Europe had vanished, basically. It vanished, right? You have never been Christian since then, right? Your kings weren't Christian, even prior to the French Revolution, right? Hence, here they are, right? Celebrating the so-called Supreme Being, Champs du Mars, where the Eiffel Tower should be, or would have been. Were considered into adherence, or else La Guillotine, right, was an effective negotiator, right? This is when you were Christian last, right? In the 70s, dear Europe. So what are you right now, right? Because I'm hearing some weak arguments out there that they are where they are because of Christianity, right? It has told them to be tolerant and empathetic, and basically has made them blind, or basically made them gullible to be manipulated, right, by other forces outside, right? Well, the same Christianity was sold all over the place by the Romans, right? The Romans spread their form of Christianity all over the world, right? They are pagan mixed with Christianity, right? Mixed with this faith of the Judah, right? The Israelites, right? They spread it all over, right? So where is the blue hair and the pink stuff and the chopping off of stuff in other countries, right? Where are they, right? We have Christians in other continents, right? Why are you like that? I believe it's your culture. It's your culture. Right? The Greek, the Romans, it's their culture. All of those things, right? Now they call them, I don't know, fluid. Back then they used to call them eunuchs. Right? A very popular symbol. It's even available in Judah, in Burkina Faso, Mali, Niger, somewhere in there. Right? A very peculiar symbol. Right? And this all comes down to plasma. Right? Plasma, which comes from the ionization. Right? Ionization. And this is a real thing. Right? From Bolivia, Egypt, North America, Suma, Indonesia, Peru, Nigeria, Persia, India, Greece, the same beings, right? The same beings manipulating humanity, right? And of course, we are in the works of exposing these beings and their plans and all of that, right? So yeah, so to end up, watch this sequence, Legion, all powers from the show, right? He compiled a good sequence of all the powers of this guy called Legion, right? Not the Legion from the Bible, but it is the Legion from the Bible, but the movie is just confusing. You need perspective, which I intend to give. So yeah, we'll keep each other up to date, right? But it's all pertaining to the so-called spirit realm. What is it? What is it? What is it like? Right? So yeah, Prince Easy signing out. And again, I don't know when this video is gonna be up, but I'm 100% sure the information won't be irrelevant. We're bending time here again. Prince Easy signing out. Love you. Bye.